Greetings to all of you who have so kindly volunteered your time to go into third and fourth grade classrooms for Teach Children to Save Week this year. I just really appreciate your willingness to do this. I'm Judy Austin from the Center for Economic Education and Entrepreneurship at the University of Delaware. And I hope that when we're finished doing this, you'll be able to have a better understanding of what you are going to be doing when you go into the classrooms. Some of you have actually visited classrooms for 20 years and more, so you are well versed in all of this. And it's wonderful to have so many participants who are advocates for children's financial literacy, and specifically for this program. So when you go into your classroom, you're going to introduce yourself and the bank. Let them know what bank you're representing. As I've said, students should already have pencils on desks, and the handouts should already be distributed. But if they're not, would you make sure that the handouts get distributed? Because the students are going to need them as you're reading through the script. Explain to the students that you are visiting because this is Teach Children to Save Day, or it's Teach Children to Save Week, because we actually, here in Delaware, even though it's a national program, in Delaware, we set aside a week that it's fine to go into classrooms. On your lesson plan, number 2 says, begin the lesson by asking the following questions. You're just going to kind of get an overview. What does it mean to save money? And by third and fourth grade, they're pretty savvy about these things. Why would you want to save money? And how many of you actually save your money? Again, this year, our author and illustrator, Delaware Banker Association's Greg Kozluck, has created a new book in the comic book format. The book this year is The Great Investo and Friends in the Magic Toolbox. As usual, the Great Investo wants to get money as easily as he can without having to really plan for it. In your materials packet, you have a copy of the lesson plan and also a volunteer guide that is set up frame by frame so that as you're teaching the lesson, the students only see one comic book frame at a time. You shouldn't have to use Post-it notes because everything you need is right there on those slides for you. As you read the book, you or the teacher, because the teachers are always very helpful, will show the pictures one frame at a time from the student version of the comic book. They don't see any of the notes that you'll see. Of course, I always welcome feedback for making delivery easier. And please be sure to practice reading before you go and visit your classroom. So the Great Investo and his friends, Penny and Savaroo, in the Magic Savings Toolkit. What's worse than being the world's worst money magician? Being the world's worst money magician with nothing to do. I'm bored, Penny. Playing a video game would be fun. I wish I had one. That's why I'm saving for a new game system. Saving, saving. That's all I ever hear from you and the mystical Savaroo. Did someone say my name? Savaroo appears. Savaroo, the savings genie. Guess I did, says Investo. We were talking about saving. I'm saving for a video game system. Great! Saving is fun, especially with my magic toolkit. Wow, a magic toolkit! Of course, Investo chimes in with, big deal. I already have a toolkit. A regular toolkit is handy, but a magic savings toolkit is even better. Look, as Penny holds up the magic savings toolkit. Oh, I'm getting tired of all this magic and saving stuff. But you're a money magician. And I've got brains and natural ability and my regular toolkit. Well, I'm still going to save, says Penny. How will you get a video game system if you don't save? Mm, well, uh, I'll build my own game system. Build your own? Say Penny and Saveru together. Investo, why not just use the 5 magic savings tools? It's easy. I'll show you what I can do with my hammer, saw, screwdriver, says Investo, and stuff from around the house that I can use. I'll make my video game in no time. Well, Saveru, Penny says to Saveru, I'd still like to save for my video game system. Great! You can start right now. Let's look at the first tool in my kit. And so the first tool in the kit is to have a goal. And the students should have in front of them, before you even start this, in the teacher section of the directions, it asks the teacher to make sure that students each have pencil and handout on the desk in front of them. So you shouldn't have to be concerned with the handout, although if you would just make sure maybe that that's done in advance, because if not, you'll have to make sure that they're handed out at this point in the lesson. Because as the students are introduced to the goals, the tools, they write it on the first worksheet, just so they have the information in front of them. So a goal? Exactly, something you want to save for. And so you have in your materials a card that says savings goal. So at this point, you're going to want to display the word card so that they're going to have an understanding. So Saveru goes on to say, you can save without a goal, but when you're working for something specific, like a new bike, a video game system, a special vacation, or anything really, a goal helps you stay focused and keeps you on track. And at this point, students on their worksheet, on their handout, are going to write in slot number 1, they're going to write goal. So as we go along, they're just keeping track of the 5 tools that are being introduced by Saveru. Tool number 2. The next tool is a place. Aha, I get it. A special place where you save your money. When you start saving, and I would emphasize the start because you want them to then get the idea that later put it into a savings account. When you start saving, you can use a piggy bank or a jar or even an envelope or a shoebox. You can decorate them to make them your own savings bank. Having a place just for saving helps you set aside your savings so you're not tempted to spend it. And the dollar bill, the $5 bill is saying, come on, spend me. When money is scattered in pockets, drawers, or backpacks, it's easy for it to get lost. A designated place protects it and helps you see how much you're saving. And so again, you're going to go to the handout, and in slot number 2, you're going to have the students write place. Can you guess our next magic tool? I have a goal and a place to save. So what I need next is money. Right, you need money in order to save money. You can save it from your allowance or doing chores and odd jobs or gifts you receive if grandma's going to give you a check for your birthday. And so you're going to stop again. And on the handout in slot 3, the students are going to write money, which is the third tool. Here are our next tools, and Saveru is holding up pencil and paper, or pen and paper maybe. A pen and paper? How do they help you save? Well, let's turn the page and find out. A paper and pen are useful to help keep track of your savings. And that's called tracking. So tool number 4 is tracking. When you're saving towards a goal, it's good to know how you're doing. Tracking your progress helps you stay focused and reach your goal. You can write down your savings in a notebook or on a chart, or even make a savings poster so you can watch your money increasing. It's exciting to see my savings grow, says Penny. And so stop again, and in slot number 4 on the handout, the students are going to write tracking. And there's one more tool in our magic toolbox. Can you guess what it is? A calendar? That makes me think of time. I know, it's compound interest. Now, interesting transition from calendar to compound interest, but Penny's pretty smart. And so tool number 5 is compound interest. Right, Penny. Save your money and deposit it in your local bank. And over time, your money will grow. When you deposit your money in a savings account, the bank will pay you interest. As interest is a bonus the bank gives you for saving with them. That interest joins your money, so the next time you get interest, you earn it on your money plus interest on the interest. And that's the magical power of compound interest. So as you probably know, this is a rather confusing concept for students. You'll be glad to know that we're not doing math on the handout this time. So in the course of this, you have held up or posted your interest, word wall sign, and compound interest, so they can see what it is that you're actually saying. Compound interest. And so on this page, it's giving you examples. Penny's account has a starting balance of $100, and it's going to pay $10 in interest. Now, there's a note down at the bottom that is for you that says the interest rate of 10% is an example used to make the math easier to understand. You will want to be sure to explain to the students that you really don't get that much interest. But the whole point is that no matter how much you've saved, that account will earn interest in the bank. And as that interest is added to your money, then that interest also earns interest. So in Penny's account, starting with $100, getting 10%, which is $10 of interest, she now has $110. Remember, she only put $100 into that account. So the next month, that $110 will earn 10% interest, and 10% of that is $11. Add that in, and she now has $121. And she only put $100 into her account. So it's a little difficult to get that point across to the students. But what you want to emphasize is the longer it's in that bank account and the more that account grows, then it's going to earn even more interest because of the compounding. So, Saveroo continues, and those are the 5 tools in the Magic Savings Toolkit. Meanwhile, Investo was doing his best, which wasn't terribly good. I wonder what he's doing in there. Penny tries to look through the keyhole. And finally, aha, my video game is finished. I made it with my brains and things from around the house. And here it is. And wait till you see this creative video game. Seriously? This is a video game? Where's the screen? Right there. That's my video screen. You mean that big empty picture frame? Saveroo studies it. Still looks like a picture frame to me. Yes, but it's very high tech, says Investo. And this is my zapper. It's a toy dart gun. It's my zapper. I aim at the targets as they glide across the screen. But they're not moving, says Penny. Ha ha, not yet. Next, I use these magic pedals. Magic? Looks like old bike pedals to me. And here's how it works. This is a real Rube Goldberg. When I work the pedals, it moves these strings that are connected to pulleys, which raise and lower the box to reveal the bowl of dog food, which Wizzo the money dog sees and races toward it. And that pulls the string attached to Wizzo's collar, which is connected to all the other pulleys, which move the targets back and forth. That's clever, Investo. But I used the savings tools and saved for this new video game system. Gee, could I use the magic tools and save for a video game system too? Of course. The savings tools work for everyone. Show him, Penny. Savings is easy when you use these 5 simple tools. Number 1, and what I'm suggesting here is instead of reading what it says on your screen, maybe before you even put it up, you want to say, tool number 1 is, and have the kids respond, because it's right there on the paper in front of them. Tool number 1 is goal. First, you have a goal. A goal, says Investo? You mean like something I'm saving for? Like a new video game system? Right, says Saveru. And number 2, and again, ask the students, so what was tool number 2? Well, it's place. So Penny says next, set aside a special place to save your money. Ah, like this jam jar, says Investo. Only make sure you clean it out or you'll have sticky savings. Tool number 3, and ask the students, is what? And they'll say money. Third, you'll need money to go into that jar. Well, that makes sense, says Investo. All that's in there now is air. Save every day, and soon it will fill up. Tool number 4, have the students tell you, is tracking. And Penny says, once you start saving, it's good to know the progress you're making toward your goal. I'll make a wall chart to track my savings, says Investo. And as was introduced previously, they might want to keep it in a notebook. They might want to graph it, or just keep it on a chart so you can see all the time how much more you have. And tool number 5, compound interest. Our final tool, says Penny, is compound interest. And this is the focus of this lesson. When you save at your local bank, they pay you interest. Over time, even the interest will earn interest. Wow! Earning interest on interest really makes your money grow, says Investo. So again, reiterate with them that interest is really a very small percentage of whatever amount you have in your savings account. So the more you've saved, the more interest there will be. And the more interest there is, compound interest will make that grow even more. And that's the real money magic, says Saveru. Thanks. I'll use the magic tools and start saving for my video game today. So Investo started saving using the 5 magic tools. He had his goal, which was the video game system. And you might want to make sure that they understand that the goal is the intended item at the end. It's not how much that costs. It's not the money part of it. It's whatever that item is that you want. And he used a jam jar, cleaned out, as his saving place. He earned money from odd jobs, carefully tracked his progress, and deposited his savings in a bank account that earned interest. And soon, he saved enough to buy his video game system. So he went to the game store. The saving tools worked great, he says to Saveru, and now I have my new game system too. That's fantastic. Penny says, but Investo, you don't look very happy about it. Doesn't it work? Oh, it works great. But Wizzo, the money dog, keeps beating me. The end. So next, on the back of their handout is the activity sheet that you're going to work on together. So you have, as part of your materials, cards with different amounts of money. And it's all in dollars. We're not working with cents. You don't have to worry about that. So have your cards face down. And on handout 2, which is on the back of your paper, you are going to fill in a chart. And I'm not filling it in for you today because it's going to be different for every one of you. So there's not an answer key that goes with this. And you're doing it together as a group, as a class. And each answer is going to end up being different for each classroom. So the page tells you that you have a savings goal of a new video game, not a system, I guess. The price of the game is $50. You already have $10 in your savings account. Let's see how long it will take you to save $50 if you put all of your money into your bank savings account, and that earns interest and compound interest. So month one is filled in for you. You're going to save every month. Month one, you already have $10 in your account, so the total amount is $10. Month two, you're going to take your stack of cards to a student, and the student is going to take a card off the top and tell us what it says. $4. That month you got $4 from allowance, from doing chores. And so on month two, on your handout, they're going to write that amount, $4. You already have 10. So what is your total now? $14. Then you're going to go to interest earned, which is put in there for you. Now, again, I have aggrandized all of this information, making it sound like there's lots and lots of interest, just for purposes of getting the point across. So after month two, interest earned is $1. And so you're going to add that onto your 14. Now you have a total of $15. Then you go to month three, have a student pick a card, fill that into the amount, total it, do the same for month four, fill that into the amount, keep your total. And after month four, now you have compound interest, because not only are your savings earning interest, but that interest that you learned after month two will now earn interest also. So with compound interest, you're now going to get $2 that the bank has added into your account. So add that into your total. Then you're going to continue with month five, month six. Then again, compound interest. Oh, this time it's $3 because your interest has also earned interest. So they can see that the interest every time is increasing because of the amount in your account, but also because of the amount of interest that is earning interest. And you're going to continue to do this up through month 10. Hopefully by then, they have saved enough that somewhere in there they have reached their $50 that they're trying to save toward their goal of getting a video game. So the question at the bottom, when you saved all of your money, didn't spend any, how many months did it take for you to save $50? Well, again, some of you, if the cards that were chosen were large amounts, like $8, maybe by month six, they've saved $50. If they're only going maybe $1 or $5 maybe at a time, possibly the answer is going to be more than 10 months if they haven't reached the $50 by the time you finish with this particular worksheet. So what is helping you reach your goal faster? And that would be interest, but actually compound interest. So that's pretty much the lesson. Um, at the end, you're going to do wrap-up questions, and you're going to ask these questions. What happens when you save money in a bank? What is interest? How can your savings grow even more? What is compound interest? And what would happen if you saved and never spent? And if that's the case, they need to know they're going to end up being millionaires if that's true. So thank the class and the teacher. And if you've brought little gifts for them, and please don't make it be like balls or whistles, things that might get the kids in trouble on the bus or in the classroom. But if you've brought little gifts, hand those out at the very end. So thank you so much. Go into the classrooms and have a great time. My absolute favorite grades for teaching were third and fourth. So it's an age where they're going to be involved, they're going to give you good answers, and just go in and have fun. So thank you very much.